So one thing I want to show is what I do for matching FETs. You can see I've already installed the FET in the circuit board here, and I've gone with two SK130, or sorry, SK30s that were marked with the, get the camera focused, were marked with the GR designation. And all I've done is I've set up a 9-volt battery on my breadboard, and there's a 10K resistor that's going to go to the drain, a 1K resistor that's going to go to ground from the source, and then a 1 meg to just hold it at just hold the gate at ground. And then all we do is plug in the transistors and look at the voltage. And so all you do is just sort them into little piles. So that one was about 4.7, which is actually pretty high gain for SK30. This one's about 3.7, so not as high gain. And yeah, all you do is you just sort them into little piles before deciding on the ones that you want to use. Usually, if I'm going to put them in parallel, I'm going to pick two that are pretty low, that register a pretty low voltage in this test, because that usually indicates that they don't have a lot of gain, which means they're not going to be very useful for guitar pedals or some other things. And as I've said, in this circuit, the primary job of the FET is impedance conversion. So really, you just want to get good signal to noise ratio, but you don't have to be super concerned about the exact gain range for any particular FET. And putting them in parallel like this is going to give you a little bit more gain anyway. So that's all that's required for that part. The next thing I'm going to do, as I've said, I've already installed a pair that I've matched in the circuit board. Next thing I'm going to do is take off the bell here from the frame and get my little screwdriver here. It's kind of hard to work on such a small space, but got to do it in front of the computer. So the bell's held on by a couple little screws, and if you were to buy the Oracle kit, there would be a transformer already in here with wires sticking out, and you don't have to worry about soldering anything to the XLR plugs or anything. But yeah, the idea is, well, the transformer should fit in the bell, and you feed its wires through one of the holes. And then figure out some way to keep it in there snugly. Some people use hot glue. I don't have a hot glue gun. I tend to use foam tape, double-sided sticky tape here. This tends to hold things decently well. I've got some really sticky stuff around here somewhere, but you kind of want to be able to take it apart if you have to. So I tend not to use the really sticky stuff for something like this. And you can see the Cinemag transformer is going to fit in there pretty easily. So the idea is you don't want it rattling around in there. If it rattles around in there, it's going to make noise on the microphone. So so the idea is just to keep it stable. It's not going to go anywhere, obviously, because it's going to be inside the microphone cage. But yeah, all you want to do is keep it stable. So I'll go ahead and get that done. and hope my microphone stops freaking out, or my webcam. All right, I'm ready to install the boards into the frame, and I've wiped them down with the 91% isopropyl, and then cleaned off the residue of the alcohol with some water, and the boards should be pretty clean, and I mean it's pretty obvious how this is going to go. The oscillator board's going to end up on one side, and the amplifier board's going to end up on the other side, and there's just 4 little screws sitting here. Should fit through circuit board. You screw them down. So, not a very complicated procedure. Let's get it done. So, I've installed one of the boards partially into the frame, and the reason I've done that is once you've screwed the boards into the frame, you won't be able to take the plastic switch holder out. So I usually find that the simplest thing to do is just screw one side in and just leave the other side unscrewed until you're ready to assemble the whole microphone. So I've still got a couple other steps to do. I've got to replace these switches because, again, these are just on-off, or on-on, and I want to replace all of them with these mini double throw switches that I got. So it's gonna be a little bit finicky because I've got to replace these tiny little wires, but shouldn't take too long. Also, in the meantime, you can I can just screw in one side of both of these boards, and that way I can install the wires down here coming from the XLR and the transformers and to this row of holes along the bottom. And also there'll be some wires that'll come down from the plastic switchboard into the top of the boards. So there's another set of holes there that go to the switches and to the back plate. And then as I mentioned before when we were going over the schematic, the polarization voltages are going to go to the capsule itself. Well, the positive is going to go to the capsule itself. The negative is actually going to go to our pattern switch.